Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Stapakaya ca dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya ca dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha. Asato ma sadgamaya Tapaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate, who came to establish universal religion. Let us pray to him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Sri Ramakrishna, in this incarnation, has very clearly demonstrated how a person should live a spiritual life wherever he may be in this world. Today's topic I have chosen, flash of warnings in life. God has arranged everything in such a way that one definitely can find out a way out of crisis. Man undergoes miseries in the world because of his own actions done improperly, not following dharma. Most of the people even don't know what exactly dharma means. So need to know what are the principles of righteousness, what are the disciplines to be followed. All these things we should very definitely know. Knowing and then applying in life, theory and practice. That's what is very important, and that's what Sri Ramakrishna showed through his example. So, stop. So everyone will come across many warning signals in life, but most of the people do not pay proper attention to these signals, but they keep on complaining about the miseries in life. Sri Ramakrishna said in the Gospel, during my sadhana, when I meditated, I would actually see a person sitting near me with a trident in his hand. He would threaten to strike me with the weapon unless I fixed my mind on the lotus feet of God, warning me that it would pierce my breast if my mind strayed from God. Sri Ramakrishna says, one must be careful about these few things. First, an influential man who has much money and many men under his control. He can injure you if he wants. You must be really careful while talking to him. Perhaps you may have to approve what he says. Secondly, a dog, when it chases you or barks at you, you must stand still, talk to it gently and pacify it. Third, a bull, if it turns after you with lowered horns, you must calm it with a gentle voice. Fourth, a drunkard, if you arouse his anger, he will abuse you, naming 14 generations of your family. You should say to him, "Hello uncle, how are you?" Then he will be mightily pleased and sit by you and smoke. In the presence of a wicked person, Sri Ramakrishna said, I become alert. If such a man asks me whether I have a pipe for smoking, I say, yes, I have. Some people have the nature of a snake. They will bite you without warning. You have to discriminate a great deal in order to avoid the bite. Otherwise your passion will be stirred up to such an extent that you will feel like doing injury in return. Pratishod. The companionship of a holy man is greatly needed now and then. It enables one to discriminate between the real and the unreal. Again Sri Ramakrishna says, if you give God something, you receive it back 1,000 times over. That's why after doing meritorious deeds, one offers a handful of water to God. It is a symbol of offering the fruit to God. When Yudhishthira was about to offer all his sins to Sri Krishna, Bhima warned him, please never do such a thing. Whatever you offer to Krishna, you will receive back 1,000-fold. Sri Ramakrishna asked about Tarak's health and talked with him at length. Tarak was ready to leave. Sri Ramakrishna asked him to be careful about many things. Sri Ramakrishna is giving these instructions as warnings. Otherwise, it is very difficult to maintain the spiritual attitude and pursue spiritual path. Sri Ramakrishna said to him, my good man, beware. Beware of lust and gold. Once you sink in the Maya, you will not be able to rise. It is a whirlpool of the Vishalakshi. He who has fallen into it can't pull himself out again. Come here now and then. Tarak said, Master, my people at home don't let me. A devotee said, suppose someone's mother says to him, don't go to Dakshineshwar. Suppose she curses him, saying, if you go there, you will be drinking my blood. It is not unreal, it's true. Many mothers, they do behave. In fact, there was one boy who was coming very regularly in Bangalore ashram, very good in work. As a young boy, he used to come. But the mother became very apprehensive. She thought probably she will lose her son if he becomes a monk. So she vehemently opposed him to come to ashram. What she would do, before she would reach the ashram, she would stand at the gate, preventing him to enter into the ashram. So there are people like that. Anyway, when the devotee said like this, what did Sri Ramakrishna say? It is very significant. Sri Ramakrishna replied, well, a mother who says that means if you go there you will be drinking my blood. A mother who says that is no mother. She is the embodiment of avidya. There is no sin in disobeying such a mother. She obstructs her son's path to God. There is no harm in disobeying your elders for the sake of God. For Rama's sake, Bharat did not obey his mother Kaikeyi. Sri Ramakrishna does these things. The gopis did not obey their husbands when they were forbidden to visit Krishna. Prahlad disobeyed his father for God. Vali disregarded the words of Shukracharya, his teacher, in order to please God. Vibhishan went against the wishes of Ravan, his elder brother, to please Rama. But you must obey your elders in all other things. Then he said, let me see your hand. Sri Ramakrishna took Tarak's hand into his own and seemed to feel its weight. A few moments later he said, there is a little crookedness in your mind, but that will go. Pray to God a little and come here now and then. Yes, that twist will go. Is it you that have hired the house at Bobazar? Tarak said, not I, but my parents. Master said smilingly, they are you. Is it because you are afraid of the tiger? Tarak had a young wife. Did the master mean that a woman is like a tiger to a man? That is, a woman who drags the man into worldly things, referring to such woman. Likewise, it refers to man also. If a man drags the wife towards worldly things, he is also like a tiger. The master suddenly addressed Mohini's wife and said, by unnatural death, one becomes an evil spirit. Beware. Sri Ramakrishna warns. We may see in modern times how many deaths are happening in an unnatural way all over the world. For petty things, people are getting killed. So many accidents, all sorts of things one can really see happening in modern times. Make it clear to your mind. Is this what you have come to after hearing and seeing so much? Mohini was about to take his leave. He saluted Sri Ramakrishna. Mohini is a man's name. Generally Mohini means we think it is woman. In Bengal they put, even the man is called as Kali. He saluted Sri Ramakrishna. His wife also saluted the master, who stood near the north door of the room. Mohini's wife spoke to him in a whisper. Master asked, do you want to stay here Mohini's wife said, "Yes, I want to spend a few days with the Holy Mother at the Nahabat. May I?" Master said, "That will be all right. But, Sri Ramakrishna said, you talk of dying. That frightens me. And the Ganges is so near." Then Sri Ramakrishna said, "There's a common adage that tells people to beware of the following. A man with a loose tongue, you must be beware, you must be cautious. These are warnings. A man whose mind cannot be fathomed even by an expert diver. A man who sticks the sacred tulsi leaf in his ears as a sign of holiness. A woman wearing a long veil to proclaim her chastity. And the cold water of a reservoir covered with green scum, by bathing in which one gets typhoid fever. These are all dangerous things." Then Sri Ramakrishna says, "Have bhakti within, bhakti, devotion. Give up all cunning and deceit. Those who are engaged in business, such as work in office or trade, should also stick to truth. Truthfulness is the tapasya of this age of Kali. Unless one always speaks the truth, one cannot find God, who is the soul of truth. One must be very particular about telling the truth. Through truth, one can realize God. Everything false is bad. Even false garb is bad. If your mind is not quite in accord with the garb, then terrible ruin shall visit you. In this way, one grows hypocritical, and all fear of doing wrong or uttering falsehood disappears." Then Sri Ramakrishna tells a small incident. There was a certain person deeply involved in debt. So he began to find a method by which he could be freed from debt. He feigned madness to escape the consequences of his liabilities. Physicians failed to cure his disease, and the more medicines were administered to him, the greater became his madness. At last, a wise physician found out the truth, and taking the man feigning madness aside, rebuked him, saying, "What are you doing? Beware that by feigning madness you do not become actually mad. Already I see some genuine signs of insanity in you." This warning roused the man from his folly, and he left off feigning madness. You will actually become what you constantly pose yourself to be. Worldly-minded people forget their lessons. The bound creatures, entangled in worldliness, will not come to their senses at all. They suffer so much misery and agony. They face so many dangers, and yet they will not wake up. The camel loves to eat thorny bushes. The more it eats the thorns, the more the blood gushes from its mouth. Still it must eat thorny plants and will never give them up. The man of worldly nature suffers so much sorrow and affliction, but he forgets it all in a few days and begins his old life over again. Suppose a man has lost his wife, or she has turned unfaithful. Lo, he marries again. Or take the instance of a mother. Her son dies and she suffers a bitter grief, but after a few days she forgets all about it. The mother, so overwhelmed with sorrow a few days before, now attends to her toilet and puts on her jewelry. A father becomes bankrupt through the marriage of his daughters, yet he goes on having children year after year. People are ruined by litigation, yet they go to court all the same. There are men who cannot feed the children they have, who cannot clothe them or provide decent shelter for them, yet they have more children every year. Again, the worldly man is like a snake trying to swallow a mole. The snake can neither swallow the mole nor give it up. The bound soul may have realized that there is no substance to the world, that the world is like a hog plum, only stone and skin, but still he can't give it up and turn his mind to God. I once met a relative of Keshav Chandra Sen, 50 years old. He was playing cards, as if the time had not yet come for him to think of God. So, things happen in life so that we can turn our mind towards God, so that we can change our ways of life. Vijay asked the question, Master, what must the bound soul's condition of mind be in order to achieve liberation? Sri Ramakrishna answered, he can free himself from attachment to lust and gold if by the grace of God he cultivates a spirit of strong renunciation. What is this strong renunciation? One who has only a mild spirit of renunciation says, well, all will happen in the course of time. Let me now simply repeat the name of God. But a man possessed of a strong spirit of renunciation feels restless for God, as a mother feels for her own child. A man of strong renunciation seeks nothing but God. He regards the world as a deep well and feels as if he were going to be drowned in it. He looks on his relatives as venomous snakes. He wants to fly away from them. And it does go away. He never thinks, let me first make some arrangement for my family and then I shall think of God. He has great inward resolution. Master Mahasaya asked Sri Ramakrishna, Master, how ought we to live in the world? Sri Ramakrishna said, do all your duties, but keep your mind on God. Live with wife, children, father, mother, serve them, treat them as if they were very dear to you, but know in your heart of hearts that they do not belong to you. A maidservant in the house of a rich man performs all the household duties, but her thoughts are fixed on her own home in her native village. She brings up her master's children as if they were her own. She even speaks of them as my Rama, my Hari. But in her own mind she knows very well that they do not belong to her at all. The tortoise moves about in the water, but can you guess where her thoughts are? There on the bank, where her eggs are lying. Do all your duties in the world, but keep your mind on God. If you enter the world without first cultivating love for God, you will be entangled more and more. You will be overwhelmed with its danger, its grief, its sorrows. And the more you think of worldly things, the more you will be attached to them. First rub your hands with the oil and then break open the jackfruit. Otherwise they will be smeared with its sticky milk. First secure the oil of divine love and then set your hands to the duties of the world. But one must go into solitude to attain this divine love. To get butter from milk, you must let it set into curd in a secluded spot. If it is too much disturbed, milk won't turn into curd. Next, you must put aside all other duties. Sit in a quiet spot and churn the curd. Only then do you get butter. Further, by meditating on God in solitude, the mind acquires knowledge, dispassion, and devotion. But the very same mind goes downward if it dwells in the world. In the world, there is only one thought, and that is lust and gold. The world is water and the mind milk. If you pour milk into water, they become one. You can't find the pure milk anymore. But turn the milk into curd and churn it into butter. Then when that butter is placed in water, it will float. So practice this spiritual discipline in solitude and obtain the butter of knowledge and love. Even if you keep that butter in the water of the world, the two will not mix. The butter will float. Together with this, you must practice discrimination. Lust and gold is impermanent. God is the only eternal substance. What does a man get with money? Food, clothes, and a dwelling place. Nothing more. You can't realize God with its help. Therefore, money can never be the goal of life. That is the process of discrimination. Do you understand? Yam said, yes, sir. I recently read a Sanskrit play called Prabodha Chandrodaya. It deals with discrimination. Master said, yes, discrimination about objects. Consider what is there in money or in a beautiful body. Discriminate and you will find that even the body of a most beautiful woman consists of bones, flesh, fat, and other disagreeable things. Why should a man give up God and direct his attention to such things? Why should a man forget God for their sake? Sri Ramakrishna said further, why shouldn't a man be able to realize God in the world? But he must have discrimination and dispassion. He must have the unshakable awareness that God alone is real and all else is unreal and has but a 2 days existence. It will not do to float on the surface. You must dive deep. With these words the Master sang, dive deep, O mind, dive deep in the ocean of God's beauty. If you descend to the uttermost depths, there you will find the gem of love. Master said further, you must remember another thing. In the ocean there is danger of alligators, that is to say, of lust and the like. Girish said, I am not afraid of the king of death. Master said, but I am speaking of the danger of alligators of lust and the like. Because of them one should smear one's body with turmeric before diving in the turmeric of discrimination and dispassion. Some attain knowledge of God in the world. Mention is made of 2 classes of yogis, the hidden and the known. Hidden and the known. Those who have renounced the world are known yogis. All recognize them. But hidden yogis live in the world, they are not known. They are like the maidservant who performs her duties in the house, but whose mind is fixed on her children in the country. They are also, as I have told you, like the loose woman who performs her household duties zealously, but whose mind constantly dwells on her lover. It is very hard to cultivate discrimination and dispassion. It is not easy to get into the idea, I am the master and all these are mine. I saw a deputy magistrate who earns a salary of 800 rupees, paying no attention to a religious discourse. He had brought one of his children with him and was busy finding a good place for him to sit. I know another man, whom I shall not name, who used to devote a great deal of time to japa, but he bore false witness in court for the sake of 10,000 rupees. Therefore I say that a man cannot realize God in the world, but only if he has discrimination and dispassion. Master said smilingly, there is a common adage that tells people to beware of the following: a man with a loose tongue, a man whose mind cannot be fathomed even by an expert driver, a man who sticks this sacred truth leaf in his ears as a sign of holiness, a woman wearing a long veil to proclaim her chastity, and the cold water reservoir covered with green scum, by bathing in which one gets typhoid fever. These are all dangerous things. Lord Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamupeti Purajjanma Dukkale Mashashvatam Napnuvanti Mahatmanaha Samsiddhim Paramangataha. Having attained me, the great souls do not get rebirth, which is the repository of pain and is not eternal, for they have reached the highest perfection. Samsara, or the worldly life, is the abode of sorrow, dukkhalayam, and ephemeral, ashashvatam. So long as a man is caught in the whirlpool of samsara, he can't escape birth and death, and sufferings and pain. If he wants liberation from all pain and sufferings and from the cycle of births and deaths, he has to attain to the Lord. He alone, who has attained the Lord, is free from rebirths in this short-lived world of pain and sorrow, and he alone can enjoy the eternal bliss, that is God. Man in his ignorance thinks that he enjoys the happiness of family life, wealth, power or position in this world. But in reality, these enjoyments are all short-lived and mixed with pain. Yet he is not prepared to give them up and to try to attain God, the abode of eternal bliss and happiness. The worldly objects are very attractive to him, and he never wants to give them up. It is also said that he does not realize that so long as he is given to worldly desires, he cannot have peace of mind. On the other hand, the attractive objects of this world do not delude the advanced spiritual beings. They know that the worldly enjoyments are short-lived and evanescent, and those who hanker after them are bound to have not only pleasure but also pain. So they take refuge in the Lord, and through devotion and dispassion attain Him. Thereafter, they are no longer subject to rebirth in this transitory abode of misery and pain. Lord Krishna says in the Gita, Abrahma bhuvana lokaha punaravartino arjuna mamupetu kaunteya punajjanma navidyate. All the worlds together with the world of Brahma are subject to return. Arjun, everybody has to return to this earth. But on reaching me, there is no rebirth. All the heavens, including the heaven of Brahma, the creator of the world, are not permanent. If a man performs good deeds, he may go to heaven and remain there for a long period and enjoy the results of his actions done on earth. But after the expiration of the fruits of his good deeds, he will be forced to come back to this world again. Of course, a few who have attained to the highest realization of Godhead through Krama Mukti will reach Mukti from the heaven of Brahma at the end of the cycle. But only those who have attained the highest perfection through Krama Mukti can attain such a liberation from Brahma's abode. All others will have to take birth again on this earth as soon as the stock of their meritorious deeds is exhausted. Thus even the Brahmaloka, the region which is the abode of the Hiranyagarbha Brahma, comes within the domain of Ajnan and is not permanent. Therefore, the wise do not seek to enjoy the pleasures of heaven. Instead, they work hard to attain the Lord, the Supreme Being, the abode of supreme peace and happiness. Once they attain the Supreme Lord, they are freed from the cycle of births and deaths. Those who know that the day of Brahma is 1,000 yugas, long, and that is night lasts 1,000 yugas. They are knowers of day and night. Shri Krishna says in the Gita, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Ahar Yad Brahmano Viduhu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratri Vido Janaha. Why the worlds, including that of Brahma, are subject to recurrence? Because they are finite in time. The Lord further gives a description of the duration of the day and night of Brahma. The day of Brahma is 1,000 yugas, and the night another 1,000 yugas. There are 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. The duration of Satya Yuga is 17,28,000 years. Treta Yuga, its duration is 12,96,000 years. Dwapar Yuga, 8,64,000. And Kali Yuga, shortest, 4,32,000 years. The total duration of one cycle of 4 yugas thus comes to 43,20,000 years. 1,000 cycles of the 4 yugas form the day of Brahma, and 1,000 similar cycles make a night. 365 such days and nights make 1 year of Brahma. 100 such years constitute his lifespan. Thus, Brahma's lifespan is also conditioned by time. He who is the knower of day and night knows even the movements of the days and nights of Brahma. He knows that even Brahma, the creator, is a jiva marching towards liberation. After a span of life at the time of Mahapralaya, the whole universe dissolves and emerges in the Supreme Brahman, leaving the place for the succeeding Brahma. In fact, you would have read in the Ramayana, Hanuman, Sri Ramchandra, embracing Hanuman, said, "You will be next Brahma in the next creation." So Brahma is a position, like Indra, Brahma. Like that. But after that span of life is over, they merge into Supreme Brahman. Thus, although Brahma's span of life expands into infinity, it is also delimited by time. He has his own days and nights, his own lifespan, and his own liberation. He who understands this truth understands the cosmic plan of the Lord, and so he is styled as a real knower of day and night. So Sri Krishna has explained all these things in the Bhagavad Gita, and he has given a great philosophy of life. Many indications Lord Krishna has given that we should know how to live our daily life. Not simply living like animals. Sometimes I feel even animals live better than men. People are becoming so beastly and very harsh in their activities and behavior. So much of hatred and violence increasing day by day. So, we are responsible for our misery. By our wrong actions, by not following Dharma, by not understanding the scriptures, not applying the spiritual ideas in life, we are compounding our sufferings and miseries in life. So, life is constantly giving us flash of warnings. Those who heed to the warnings, they may become wise, and eventually they come towards God and work for liberation. Narendra was sitting, page 992, Narendra was sitting with the devotees in the room of Danas. The conversation turned to religious preaching. Yam said to Narendra, Vidyasagar says that he does not speak about God to anyone for fear of being caned. Narendra said, For fear of being caned? What does he mean? M said, that's what Vidyasagar says. Suppose that after death we will go to God. The emissaries of death will have sent Keshav Sen there too. Keshav Sen, no doubt, committed sins while he lived on earth. When that is proved, perhaps God will say, give him 25 stripes. Then suppose I am taken to God. I used to go to Keshav Sen's Brahma Samaj in my earthly life. I too have committed many sins. So, I too am ordered to be caned. Then suppose I say to God that I acted in that sinful way because I listened to Keshav's preaching. Thereupon God will ask his emissaries to bring Keshav back. When he is brought, the Almighty Lord will say to him, did you really preach that way? You yourself knew nothing about spiritual matters, and yet you had the handihood to teach others about God. Emissaries, give him 25 stripes more. Everybody laughed. M said, therefore Vidyasagar says, I cannot take care of my own self. Should I be foolish enough to get an additional caning for misleading others? I myself do not understand God. How shall I lecture to others about him? Narendra said, how has he, who could not understand God, understood other things? M asked, what other things? Narendra said, he says that he has not understood God. But how then can he understand charity and doing good to others? How can he understand about the school? How can he understand about educating boys by establishing schools? How can he understand that it is right to enter the world, marry and beget children? He who rightly understands one thing understands everything else. M to himself, yes, Sri Ramakrishna too said that he who knows God knows everything else. Further he said to Vidyasagar that leading a worldly life, establishing schools and so on are the outcome of rajas. The master also said that Vidyasagar's philanthropy was due to the influence of sattva and rajas. Such rajas is not harmful. After their meal, the brothers of the monastery rested. M and Chunilal were conversing. Chunilal told M of his first visit to Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar. He also told him how at one time he had felt disgusted with the world, had renounced it, and had wandered about in holy places. A few minutes later, Narendra came and sat by them. He asked the younger Gopal to prepare smoke for him. The latter had been meditating. Narendra said to him, I say, prepare a smoke. What do you mean by this meditation? First of all, prepare yourself for spiritual life by serving God and holy men. Then you will be able to meditate. First of all, karma, and then meditation. Everybody laughed. There was a big plot of wooded land to the west of monastery compound. M was seated alone under a tree when suddenly Prasanna appeared. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. M said, where have you been all these days? Everyone has been so worried about you. Have you seen the brothers? When did you arrive? Prasanna said, just now. Yes, I have seen them. M said, you left a note saying that you are going to Vrindavan. We were terribly worried about you. How far did you go? Prasanna said, only as far as Konnagar. Both of them laughed. M said, sit down. Tell me all about it. Where did you stop first? Prasanna said, at the Dakshineshwar temple garden. I spent one night there. M said smilingly, what is Hazra practice? What is Hazra's present mood? Prasanna said. Hazra asked me, what do you think of me? Both laughed. Yam asked smilingly, what did you say? Prasanna said, I said nothing. Yam, then? Prasanna said. Then he asked me whether I had brought tobacco for him. Both laughed. Prasanna said, he wanted me to wait on him. Yam, where did you go next? Prasanna, by degrees I got to Konnagar. I spent the night in the open. I intend to proceed further and ask some gentleman whether I could procure enough money there for a railway ticket to the up country. Yam, what did they say? Prasanna, they said, you may get a rupee or so, but who will give you the whole fare? Both laughed. Yam said, what did you take with you? Prasanna, oh, 1 or 2 pieces of cloth and a picture of the master. I didn't show the picture to anybody. For 9 months, with unswerving zeal, he had won a scholarship in the entrance examination for his academic ability and had studied up to BA, but he had not appeared at the examination. His father, a poor Brahmin, was a devout Hindu and spent much of his time in spiritual practice. Shashi was his eldest son. His parents had hoped that after completing his education, he would earn money and remove the family's financial difficulties. But Shashi had renounced the world for the realization of God. Whenever he thought of his father and mother, he felt great anguish of heart. Many a time he said to his friends, with tears in his eyes, I am at a loss as to my duty. Alas, I could not serve my parents. I could not be of any use to them. What great hope they placed in me. On account of our poverty, my mother did not have any jewelry. I cherished the desire to buy some for her, but now all my hopes are frustrated. It is impossible for me to return home. My master asked me to renounce woman and gold. I simply cannot return home. After Sri Ramakrishna's passing away, Shashi's father had hoped that his son would come back to his family. The boy had spent a few days at home, but immediately after the establishment of the new monastery, he had begun to frequent it, and after a few days had decided to remain there as one of the members. Every now and then, his father came to the monastery to persuade him to come home, but he had not succeeded. Let us stop here. So, we should heed to the warnings that come to us in our life. Almost every day we get warnings, signals. Just we don't care, we open our eyes when we get suffering. But that is too late. What can we do? Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bought for various souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, For my heart burns away with desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of the devotees, do with me what thou wilt. For thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous reign in tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good pervade all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.